Hey, it's finally here. Shenanigans, the podcast with Tay and B Wills. Get strapped in as we bring you along on this journey. Get to know us, our unique take on different topics, and our unbelievable story of how we've been able to navigate these crazy times in a world consisting of manospheres, extreme femininity, and everything in between to become ex spouses to our friends. Here we go. Shenanigans starts now.
Yes, we are here. My name is B Wills, and welcome to Shenanigans.
Hey, y'all. Hey, I'm Tay.
Strap in.
I'm Tay. So, we promised you guys a podcast on Friday, and we are delivering. So, thank you all for popping in to listen to our story. What we're going to do is kind of give you a trilogy. So, part one is going to be Origin Story Trilogy Part One. The title is Whirlwind. So, we are going to take you guys on a journey from the time we met through a pretty pointed time in our relationship. And that's going to kind of set off part one. And Friday after that, and the next Friday after that, you'll get the other pieces. So, like I said, strap in and thanks for listening.
We're just going to warn you right away up front. What you're going to be hearing is our experiences, our ups and downs, and as we said, it is a whirlwind. But we want you to take from this an example and something that you can benefit, and hopefully a blueprint on how things should work in a functioning relationship. We have fun, and now we want you to have fun with it as well. So,
What did you say about a functioning relationship? We are not trying to be an example to anyone out there. Let me just go ahead and put that out there. We are not expecting anyone to follow our example. This is just our story, and we want to share it with you guys. Every time we tell this story, people tell us you should write a book. No one really believes that we actually fit this much craziness in such a short period of time. So I'm going to go ahead and put that caveat out there. I don't want anyone to take anything from this story and try to mold their lives after this. We are not professionals. As it said in our trailer, we really are just two regular people that lived a crazy few years together. And we're going to tell it. We're going to tell it. So, yeah.
nice little caveat. I didn't expect it to be something that anybody else would necessarily follow, but you may find some things in here that might be helpful.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. Again, I'm Tay. Just a little bit of background on myself. I am a corporate worker. I don't know, is that how you say that? I work in the corporate world. I'm a white collar worker. What would
Yeah.
that be? Anyway, I work in the office. I'm a slave to the office, and have been for quite a while. And it's interesting when you have two people from such a different background who are nothing alike come together, and when that happens, you can run into something. So we're, like I said, in this trilogy, we're going to get into that.
Ups
But
and downs.
for now, we're going to talk about all good stuff.
Absolutely.
Your background?
It's just
You
going to
want to tell the
be
people?
my background was carpentry and HVAC. I worked in the field. I'm an outdoors person. No doubt about it. Hammer and nails, meat and potatoes type of guy. So coming into this relationship, I had an idea of what I wanted, and I thought I knew, and I was pleasantly surprised that I was wrong.
So let's get into it. How do we meet? I would say we were at this gathering, and he was there with some of his family. I knew some of his family. I knew his brother. I knew his mom. And I was just walking around with my sister, and I saw his mom, so I wanted to go say hello. I didn't know him. I knew of him. We grew up in the same town our whole lives. We went to all the same schools, but he was older than me. He was kind of in my sister's grade. So
Yeah,
when
you
I walked
mean
over to say hello to his mom, he was sitting there. Like I said, my point was to say hi to his mom, and my sister was with me. And so I did that. as I walked away, I said to my sister, I was like, "Is that that guy who was in a lot of trouble back in the day? Because he had, a little bit of a sordid past." And she was like, "Yeah, that's him." But that's what I remember from our first encounter.
So my first recollection is totally different than that. First of all, I'm gonna put that caveat. She came over to see me, and that's what my mama said. That was for you.
Moms always try to gas their kids up, but
Yeah. No, I like she said, she was walking with her sister and I saw her from across the floor, the from far away. And literally she was like the floating, gliding like this was the that was a Spike Lee movie. And she came over, yes, and she spoke to my mom and I was stunned. But I played it cool. Definitely played it cool. And afterward we didn't see each other again. Matter of fact, I didn't speak to her. The next time her name even came up was a couple months later. I seen your sister and we were at somewhere and we started talking about my past and she's told me that she had a sister that would be perfect for me, and both of our situations kind of lined each other. We both were divorced in the same 2007 in the same month, so it seemed like everything was just perfect. I love motorcycles and basketball, and she rode and liked basketball, so it was right off the bat. It was just like a match made in heaven. So we planned a cook-off.
who's we?
Well,
I
correction.
was not involved in
No, you
this.
was not involved in the correction. Your sister planned the cook-off.
I was getting plotted on in the background. So yeah, him and my sister, I guess, came to some type of agreement. I guess I don't know. Was she planning a dinner? Because the way I heard it is she was planning a dinner, and she told me that she had invited you. So I kind of had an idea it was like supposed to be like a little hookup, but I was honestly at a point in my life where I was not interested in being in a relationship. Like he said, it was 2000 and what was it? 2010 at this point. So I had
Yeah,
had gotten
2010.
a divorce in 2007, and it was not a nice one. So I was good on guys for a little while. I was just chilling. Me and my son had a 12-year-old son, and I really was not looking to get into a relationship. But of course, my sister was having a dinner. We always do family things together, so of course I was going to go to her house and have some dinner, play some cards, do our thing. So invited you over. Why don't you tell us what happened when you got the text message? Because he responded quick, guys. It was like before she even sent the text message, he responded yes, if that's possible.
Lies, lies, lies. Why you lying on me like that? No, I we were actually. It would just happen to be purely coincidence that we were talking about you in the living. So at this point, my brother and I were having a conversation, and he was actually talking about you and telling me about a woman that everybody was trying to get at, and she was definitely the cream of the crop because she was unattainable. So
Mm-hmm.
my response was like, "What's the big deal? I mean, like it's only a
Mm-hmm.
female,"
That's what he said, Joe.
which was terrible for me to
That's what he
say. That.
said. Unfortunately for him, he was not used to a woman of my caliber, but that's all right. We're gonna give him a little bit of leeway and give him a little bit of leeway on that one. But yeah, he was talking to his brother. I found out later they were talking about me, and like I said, I knew his little brother. He would come over my house from time to time and hang out with my son, and so I knew his brother. But I just that was funny that they kind of were talking about me at the same time. My sister was trying to hook everything up, but let's fast forward to what the dinner. So fast forward to the day of the dinner. Like I said, I was not interested in meeting anybody new. So I went to my sister's house like I normally do. I was tired, so I went in my niece's room and I actually laid down. My niece was there, my other sister, and everybody was just chilling and having fun. And you showed up.
And showed up with a ball with the curry gumbo shrimp dish that I like to make, and all of my nervousness because I knew you were gonna be there. And what happened next? I just basically came in and you weren't around, and I mingled, and then
No, yeah. So I was, let's go back to that. I wasn't around. Like I said, I wasn't in my niece's room to lay down. And my niece and her friend, they were being silly. They were like, he's here. Because everybody knew it was a hookup. And I was just like, I'll see him when I get out there. Like,
she was rude,
so,
y'all. That's what she was. She was rude.
so, yeah, excuse me. When I got up and came out, the night progressed, and it was a cool night. It was a cool night. I was kind of just like checking out his vibe, seeing what type of person he was. He seemed polite enough. He seemed like, you know, a nice enough guy. He did cook pretty well. He brought some, like he said, curry shrimp, and it was really good. So throughout the night, we played spades. We took some shots, and that's when I decided to throw him a little bit of a bone. We was taking shots, so I decided to like
Blow my
share
mind.
his share his drink, see what happened from there.
That was
I
a power
didn't
move.
I didn't know at the time what he was thinking, but like I said, ladies, we know what to do. So, fast
Yeah.
forward again, I'm getting ready to leave. I'm tired. So I'm telling my son, let's wrap things up. He's upstairs with his cousins. They're playing video games as the boys often do. And somebody asked me, I can't remember who it was. If it was my sister or my other sister. It wasn't my niece, I don't think.
That
But
was your
somebody asked
niece.
me if we exchanged numbers. And I was like, no. I was like, it is what it is. If I leave here and he doesn't ask me for my number, I'm good. I'm all good on this. So, what was the other side of that coin? What was going
That's
on your
when
end?
your sister came in and was like, "Look, butthead, if she leaves, it's a wrap. What are you doing? Why didn't you get her number? If you don't go get her number right now." So yes, I went over and got the number in
You
all of
caught me
my
outside, I
nervousness.
think. I was literally about to get in my car, and you came outside and you asked me for my number. So I gave it to him. And it kind of took off from there. Like we said, it really was a whirlwind. Am I missing something? You
No,
said a
actually,
text or
because the
something?
next after that, well, the only thing that happened after that was me taking 3 hours to write a text message the next day. And then after that, I think it went really quickly. We were talking almost every day because that's when was it, a month later.
Yeah, we were talking for hours and hours every day. And just getting to know each other, identifying likes and dislikes, and um that's important to me, trying to understand who a person is, letting each other know the boundaries. Like, for instance, I let him know that he would not be officially meeting my son until I knew that this was going somewhere. Um, so, those are the kinds of things we talked about. And something happened on October 15th.
October
After all this
15th was the
talking,
day.
you kind of made it official. What'd you give me? Do you even know? Do you remember?
Of course, I remember. It was a note, not a letter. It was a note written in crayon. Will you be my girlfriend? Check the box yes or check the box no.
That was adorable. So he wrote me a little kindergarten note. Will you be my girlfriend? Two squares drawn on it with crayon. Check yes or check no. I checked yes. So from that point on, it was kind of like all ahead. And talk about being in the gym shooting with somebody. Like I said, he had a difficult past, so it was difficult for you to get a job and stuff like that. So, I would go to work and I would come back and help fill out applications and go to job interviews with you and all that type of stuff.
Filling out
And
resumes. Oh,
yeah, I did a couple of your resumes, and it was just a crazy fast time.
but we were a team instantly.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, let me tell you, like it was tough. I went through getting hired and then fired within an hour. Like it was crazy. And coming back from Georgia and was just unreal. But you were there every step of the way, literally. I mean, I still to this day, even my pops brings this subject up when he talks about the time we went to Massachusetts and you sat there. You were leaving from your job and you had to drive all the way out to Massachusetts far, and then go to the first part of the interview, then wait an hour in the parking lot for the second interview, all for me not to get the job. Like, ooh, wow, we were going through a lot.
So I just want to go ahead and give myself a shout out because, I don't judge a book by its cover. I look at the person and I look at the potential of a person. I saw in you that you were always willing to work hard. You were always willing to make adjustments and be proactive. So, you know, like you said, we were a team. And when I'm in a relationship, I'm in 100%. Until, someone shows me that whatever reason, that's not being reciprocated or whatever, then, things might change a little bit. But it was all systems go at that point. And, I think we were a pretty cohesive team at that point. So, oh, let's talk about your glow up. Let's talk about the bee glow up. Because,
Say,
y'all,
what's that? Oh,
when I say I don't judge a book by its cover, this person over here stayed in some oversized windbreaker pants and an oversized Comcast shirt. So that was devastating. One day I was just like, listen, we got to do something with this. We got to do something with this outfit. Because also, I think what really pushed it was that I had a work event. And then, so he shows up with his overly baggy pants on, dress pants, and this Steve Harvey overly baggy shirt on. And I was like, oh,
was it really though?
gosh, you about to have to
It
come in
was
here and meet
bad.
my work people. After that, we went shopping. We had to get him some clothes that were appropriate for a grown man. And how was that received? Let's talk about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, she called me delicious. Ah, to this day.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how was it received, like other people? Like, did
Oh,
you get any feedback?
are you just gonna skip over my delicious part?
Yes.
My my mother said, yeah, she's the keeper. Right then and there, she knew it because I went from being the baggy clothing guy looking like crisscross and whatever year that was till now actually my clothes fitting. Yes, she's a keeper. Look at your clothes finally fit.
Had to
So yeah,
happen.
I got definitely started getting attention.
I had to get Beyonce on him, and I had to upgrade him a little bit.
A
A
little
lot
bit.
of bit. Let me just go ahead and
You just don't put me out there like that. It was actually a very good, yes, definitely an epic
upgrade. Let's
upgrade.
talk about what was I thinking? Because sometimes this is kind of controversial when people start dating and it's always like who's going to say I love you first? Who says it first, and do you feel
Yeah.
obligated to say it back and all of that type of stuff. So,
Timelines and everything, right?
yeah, like do you feel awkward if you don't say it back? So in our situation, who said it first?
I did. I knew it. I knew it right away that I loved you. So I was not concerned about, especially with all the conversations that we had, and you made it clear that you wasn't saying it until you actually felt it.
So, yeah, when you said it, I remember saying something along the lines of something like I appreciate it. But I don't say that
You take
unless I
this
really
very
mean it. Like I take it
seriously.
seriously. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't initially say it back. But he took it well. He said, I understand, he's gonna stay the course. And it kind of just continued on from there.
I did the Jennifer Hudson. You gonna love me,
Oh my gosh. Gosh.
Dream Girls. You're gonna love
So he
me.
must have really known it, guys, because also another thing I just want to mention, and this is also sometimes a hot topic that's brought up, where people say, what, the way to a man's heart is through a stomach.
I mean, that's the same.
That is the same.
I don't make the rules. Isn't that what you say? You don't make the rules.
I'm speaking to the fact that I did not cook for you
You
until
were
we were married.
and
I'm
you
not a
know what?
believer,
And
y'all, in doing wifely things unless I'm a wife. So
but it was crazy because it's like you put some type of crazy, I don't know, because I didn't even realize that it happened.
you
Excuse
didn't
me.
realize it into what? Who brought it to your attention?
I didn't realize that I didn't cook anything. I mean, that you never made anything into that epic conversation where my mom challenged your cooking skills. She comes to me in the kitchen and sits down like, "Can she cook?" And I'm like, "Oh, uh, well, shoot, I don't know."
She has a
Now that
kitchen.
you asked and now that you say it, I don't even know. I'm like, I'm not marrying her
She
for her
does
cooking.
have a kitchen. Her son is still alive, so somebody must be
The
eating
kitchen is
something.
used only for walking through it, though. I've never seen food come out of it. Just food adjacent to the kitchen.
Yeah, but listen, as we just talked about, he was getting held down in other ways. So yeah, I just thought that was a funny point to bring out. And also too, because you were so accustomed to that happening. We're gonna get into this in part two, y'all. But he was so accustomed to that type of behavior from women. Um, I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised you weren't shell shocked by it. Like, this chick ain't make me a plate yet.
No, honestly, like literally, that's why I said it was like some weird bamboozled trick or something. Like you put something on me that I didn't even realize until that day. And but that's a testament to that's when you know you're in a good relationship where you are getting what's the word?
Substance.
Well, yes, but you're being taken care of in ways that you never realized that you needed. And there's so many things in a relationship or the dating world that is off. Like there's perceptions on what should happen and what shouldn't happen. This is a perfect example of being in a functioning relationship, which I didn't know was happening. You know, you're teaching me, but these are the fundamentals in the way dating should be because never did I ever think that I was losing or lacking anything. We worked so well together and I was happy cooking. And it was just a moment of just seeing. I mean, like we would just sit and hang out and listen to music with, like we were in high school. So that is awesome. Yeah, I have to say that was great. And
It really was like a teenage love affair. Shout out to Alicia Keys. Um, but yeah, like like you kind of were saying, I would just kind of wrap that up. I don't know in my own head of just when you have a relationship based on substance and not somebody that thinks that their worth is based on what they're bringing to the table tangibly, especially when it comes to things like, oh, I cook for him, and oh, I'm gonna come and clean his house, or I'm gonna draw his bath. First of all, who are you talking to? I'm gonna
your
draw a
worth is
grown
more
man's
than
bath.
what you do.
What? You
Your
better draw
worth
my
is
bath.
who you are.
So yeah, just it's
I
gonna get
mean, I've had
interesting,
that
guys.
done to me. So that's what I was only drawing from my experiences.
You what?
I was only drawing from my experiences. Like I
Well, yeah,
literally had that
exactly.
happen.
That's what I said. Like you were just always accustomed to those types of behaviors. So, like I said, I'm just kind of shocked that you weren't shell shocked that you were not getting that on this end. But I guess, I guess thank you. A testament to me that you didn't really know that you were missing anything because you really weren't. You were getting so much
In other areas, yeah.
over and above. Yeah. So,
I had never had. So the real reason is, and this goes back to an acquaintance, was like, why her? You know, what's so good
mm,
about this chick?
yeah, I
Like
remember
because
that
everybody that
conversation.
know me in the past, like I've been around a certain, a few different chicks, and they're like, I've been waiting, and you marry this one. Where did she
Oh,
come
bro,
from? First of
guys,
all,
let me tell you.
she popped up and married this chick in 9, 10 months. Where did she even come from?
Guys, it's sad. Let me tell you. And this is something I'm gonna be talking with hindsight and I'm gonna be talking like present day, but I can't. As you said that, it really sparked in me, like, and I didn't see this until after we got married, but I don't know, somehow I came along your Facebook page and that ridiculous post of one of your little friends who posted something so ridiculous. It was
Don't say it.
something like what what was it?
Nope.
It was something
Saying it.
like, "Oh yeah, because I've been the one, blah blah blah, and he's been stacking up for my ring for 10 years." I was like, "He been stacking up for your ring for 10 years, and you've been waiting for 10 years? Like what? I wouldn't even write that about myself. That's
You know
embarrassing.
what?
You gonna tell the world that you've been waiting? You've been on pause for 10 years? Sheesh. Good luck with that." Um, but yeah,
I just have
that
that
was
je ne
hilarious.
sais quoi.
I guess. Listen.
It didn't work with. Well, maybe it did work with you, but just not in the way I thought.
That's embarrassing.
More like you put that on me.
That's embarrassing. Fast forward. We are fast forwarding
Pause.
to the we're fast forwarding to what? The proposal, right? The proposal now. The proposal now. It's when was the proposal?
Proposal was
My
in
bad.
April.
I'm sorry. The proposal was in April. He's better at the dates than I am. I admit it. I really do admit it. He really is like the sentimental one. So the proposal was in April. We were supposed to do dinner and everything, right? Like we were supposed to have this whole
We
dinner.
were also, yeah, we were supposed to do dinner on Saturday. Like everybody, it was supposed to be a dinner at the house and my mom and everything. So it would have been everybody there and you would have known anyway. So I think my way was better.
We was going to the house. We wasn't going to a restaurant.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I just knew something was up because
She said,
you
"You're not going to the restaurant?
you was
You're
like
so bougie."
you just kept asking me, confirming. I was like, yes, I said I'm gonna be at dinner. But you just kept confirming, so I knew something was up. But like we said already, we spent a lot of time together. So we basically saw each other every day. So I think it was like on a Wednesday or something, I was at your house and we was just chilling watching TV and you just kept getting up, pacing back and forth. And I'm like, we're watching this movie. Like where do you keep going?
Yeah, we were watching a movie and I kept getting up in the movie,
And
going upstairs, looking at the ring. Is she gonna do it?
So he kept getting up and down. And you finally came downstairs and was just like standing there. And I'm like, what's going on?
Drop down on one knee. Will you marry me?
It was like that. It was really like, have you guys seen the movie The Proposal where they were telling the fake story about how they got engaged. And at the end of the story, he just sees them. He's like, would you marry me? Yep. Okay. And that was it. That's kind of how it was. So I got no dinner at a restaurant or at home. And but I got a ring. So hey.
And you love that ring.
And it wasn't 10 years. So
Shots
shout out to
fired.
me.
Wow, shots fired.
Shout out to me. So yeah. What'd you say? That was April? So we
That
met
was
in
April.
October. Was that
April
October at my
15th.
sister's house? No.
No. So the timeline was September 9th, the first time we met.
No, I'm talking about okay, so we met at my sister's house in September. You wrote me that note on October 15th. I remember that because I chose the 15th as our wedding date, July 15th.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we went from October, officially a couple, to you proposing in April.
Mhm.
Okay. And then our wedding was in July 15th.
July 15th.
So, the day of the wedding, was very nice. It was a very small group of friends and family. We got married at your parents' house in the backyard. And we had a nice, small, intimate reception with the same group of folks that
Beautiful
watched us
day.
get married. Yeah, it was a nice day.
Weather
a
was
nice day.
perfect. I mean, I worked like a dog in the beginning of washing aluminum siding, vinyl siding, and cutting grass, and I was a tyrant getting everybody in. Like, I was up at 7 o'clock giving orders. I'll never forget
Meanwhile,
that.
I'm at home getting my beauty sleep, getting some nice rest, having my hair set. But no, it was a nice day. It was a nice day. And let's see from there
Reception.
after the wedding, yeah, the reception was nice too. But after the wedding, we took a family trip to New York City because we were gonna go on our honeymoon the second day after the wedding. So,
That Sunday.
yeah, yeah, because we got married on a
We
Friday.
got married
So
on a
that Saturday
Friday.
we went to
And
New
that
York.
Saturday we went to New York.
My siblings and all the kids, his kids. We didn't even talk about this. The kids, when the kids met each other, when we finally
Yeah.
introduced the kids to each other, they hit it off like kids usually do. I think kids usually are more comfortable with each other, obviously, than they are with the adults. But I feel like we hit it off with each other's kids pretty well too.
We hit it off, your son. We hit it off fairly immediately, actually. And we were talking about Transformers and little stuff. So and the dancing. So that's when they figured out I could dance.
Yeah.
And everybody was into the break dancing at that time. So that was a nice segue to being able to bring my daughter and introduce her and to your son and the rest of the siblings, the gang. And they all just kind of fell in. They're all around the same age, so even to this day, it's freakishly funny how they all are so close.
Yeah. Yeah, my son's he's pretty open. So we talk about a lot of things all the time. I always make sure that he feels okay with situations and but I feel like even if your kids were a little bit more reserved, I feel like everyone was still okay with the situation. It wasn't
The only person was
we're gonna
your
get into
nephew
this in episode
I was
two.
scared of.
We're gonna get into this episode. We're gonna get into that in episode two. But
Yeah.
yeah, so the day after the wedding, we took a family trip to New York,
No,
which
we're
was
not gonna skip over the fact that you almost you had to confirm with your nephew whether or not you was gonna go through with the wedding.
well, first of all, my nephew is so adorable. So he's an old man. He was such an old man. He was born an old man. So yeah. And my son too. When my son went on vacation with his dad at one point in time in the middle of when we were dating, my son put my nephew on assignment, like, watch out for this guy. Tell me what goes out when I'm gone. And I didn't find that out until later that they had this little pact. But I thought that was so freaking adorable. My son was 12 at the time, so that means my nephew was, geez, I don't know, maybe 9. But yeah, that happened. You were being watched. You were being watched pretty heavy. And my nephew was, the day of the wedding, was like, Antea, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. You can wait. Perhaps in hindsight, maybe I should have listened to some little 9-year-old wisdom. Maybe we should have gave it a couple more months. Maybe we're gonna give it. We should have gave it a couple more months. I need some. I need some fire shot sound effects moving forward. But yeah, no. Back again. The day of the wedding was nice. Trip to New York, honeymoon. We actually went to, where did we go?
What are you talking about?
For the honeymoon.
New York or the honeymoon?
For the honeymoon. And I'm sorry if you guys hear this background noise. We are in the city, and it is ridiculous. These cars driving back and forth. But where did we go for the honeymoon? It was
Virginia.
Virginia. Yes, we went to
Busch
Virginia.
Gardens.
But it's not what you guys think. It's not like we went to Virginia Beach or anything like that. We went to Busch Gardens. We really just took like a whole teenage trip and just had super fun.
Cabin.
Yeah.
With the cabin with the roses, and that was just, honeymoon was just amazing. Actually, I mean, right down to when I tell you we got chemistry, we had the best ride down there, back and forth. Just the perfect riding partner. Like, it was just awesome. Like, she can drive just as well as I can. So it was no problem with the driving. We got there and it was late. We got there late. And it was just, we get there and then we're hungry. So there's nothing open, but we find Longhorns open. But the cabin, when we walked into it, it was done up. There was like roses and chocolate and everything. It was, you don't even remember, huh?
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
I remember that,
it
but
was
sounds
rose
nice.
petals on the floor.
I don't remember. There were no rose petals on
Yes,
the
there
floor.
were. Yes, there was.
Absolutely not. Who put the rose petals on the floor?
The people set that up. It was into that first room with the chocolate. It was just right to the foyer,
I
right
feel
to
like you're
that
thinking
first
of a
little.
movie.
There was. You don't remember the little table in the beginning, in the middle?
I feel like you're thinking of a movie that maybe you saw.
No, I'm dead serious.
How would I forget that? That's crazy. But
We
yeah,
literally came in, dropped the stuff down, and then ran out to go find food.
okay, I'm gonna defer to you on that, and I'm gonna believe your
Okay.
recollection. But it was a nice time. We rode roller coasters. We had fun. We balled out a little bit. Came back with a few outfits. You came back looking like Brooks Brothers, and it was just cool. It was cool. We also brought another surprise back from the honeymoon that we found out on August 22nd. So to give you guys a little bit of timeline, again, the wedding was on July 15th, August 22nd.
We get a
I took a little bit of a test,
yeah,
and we found out that another little one was going to be joining us. So he was a honeymoon baby, and I was super happy.
and I
I was
was
super
super
happy. I knew
excited
I
too.
wanted another child, and Holmes over here ruined it.
I was super excited.
Lies. Guys, I was waiting for like a movie reaction. You know how they be doing in the movies? They tell the guy and he gets all excited. He picks you up and spins you around. I got none of that. I got none of that. This is what I got. I knew you were. That was the response.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It was straight shenanigans. How you gonna
we're
ruin?
not even married anymore. She still brings this up.
Listen, I wanted my movie response.
I really wish I could go back and do this over.
So that's how we found out about this little boy. And I wanted to make sure everything was good because I think I was 34 at the time. And of course, with older age, things happen. My doctor, my OBGYN is the bomb. So I reached out to her. She got me right in to have my first ultrasound. You typically don't get an ultrasound that early on. But again, my doctor is the best. And she got me in. And also, with my first son, I had placenta previa. So what that means is that the egg implants really low in your uterus and sometimes cover the cervix opening. And that's what happened with my first son. And if anything happens, if there's a rupture or anything, you as the mother can bleed to death. Obviously, the child wouldn't make it. So I wanted to make sure everything was what it was supposed to be. So she got me in. We got the ultrasound. This little one was implanted nice and high where he was supposed to be. And it was all good. It was all good in the hood. It was all good in the hood. And so that kind of wraps up part one of this trilogy, A Whirlwind. It really was a whirlwind. We dated for what, 10 months?
Yeah, everything was done in 10 months. Yeah, from start to finish.
From meeting to wedding in 10 months to finding out that we were expecting. And when you have two people that come together that are so different, that have different backgrounds and different ideas on life and different ideas on boundaries, things are bound to need to be ironed out. And that's what we're going to be getting into in episode 2 next week, in Unforeseen Occurrences. We're going to be taking you from a very serious time to a traumatic time. So, caveats all over that episode. Caveats and trigger warnings, mostly for ourselves, all over that episode.
That's going to be a tough one. Bring back to relive this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was rough, but we decided
all kind of disclaimers in that episode.
Yeah. So we decided to share it with you guys. We're going to be honest. We're going to put it out there. We are going to not name names, but we are going to be honest. We couldn't tell if it didn't happen, so it is what it is. Thank you everyone for joining episode 1 of Shenanigans with K and B Wheels. We hope you enjoyed our banter. We are trying to get better with our production value, with all of this background noise. It's ridiculous. But thank you for hanging in with us. And,
absolutely.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week. Peace out.